Greetings, beloved Star Child Rising. You are in Christina's Corner, and I'm Christina. Welcome back to the podcast where I have the opportunity and the honor to highlight individuals who are out here leveraging their talents and their skills to really make an impact on humanity. And today, I have a very special guest, someone that I've known and admired for, let's just say, many years, Carole, the
Yes.
incredible Grand Madame Tarot, aka Goddess Carole. Carole, as I have the privilege of knowing her, offers profound insight and clarity on everything from real life situations to celebrity events and global happenings. Her unique wisdom is drawn from a powerful blend of astrology, numerology, mythology, and deeply practical coaching principles. She truly works with the unseen, the light and sound energies that surround and permeate all life, allowing these energies to filter through her as clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all the clairs.
Yeah.
Whether you're seeking guidance on a personal journey or a broader understanding of current events, Grand Madame Tarot can guide you to your answers through her insightful videos, personal readings, and upcoming group coaching classes. You'll find all of Grand Madame Tarot's contact information in the video description, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy our conversation. Without further ado, it is my immense honor to welcome my dear friend, Carole. Welcome, Carole.
Oh, thank you so much, Christine. It's been a while. It's really been a long while. I'm so happy to be on Christina's Corner.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you.
And so, Carole, one of the things that I do on this podcast is I always come up with 6 questions. And the first one is always the same. It's for you to take us back to kind of like your beginning. Like, what were you like as a kid? And were there any clues as you were growing up that you would be involved in the spiritual world?
I don't think there were any clues, but I was always the weirdo. I always walked alone, even as a child. Um, I'm remembering I had to be, elementary school age. I don't know how young I was at that time. I do remember holding my grandmother's hand, walking down the street and looking down at the concrete on the sidewalk. And I was in awe about how this thing I'm walking on, this pavement was what we called it, how it came to be. And I could see it coming from the formless energy into form itself and becoming that concrete beige color. I was fascinated by that. I never said that to anybody. I just enjoyed it. So I enjoyed my walk with my mom and my grandma. I did not know at the time that I was as consciously aware of the different dimensions that exist in our multiverse. But, well, that's what that was. That's my first inkling. Later on, around 14, I became interested in astrology. And my mother gave me an astrology kit for Christmas, and I loved it. And I was taking a bunch of years later, add 4 more years on that. And I started taking astrology classes as continuing ed classes at Morgan State University then. So I'm 18, 19, 20 now. I'm taking astrology classes. But in the meantime, what we would do, my mom and I and my girlfriends and I, we would have special occasions and we would just go out to dinner at a place called the Palmer House restaurant. It was an Italian
I
restaurant, and
remember that. I
yes,
remember that place.
it since has
Mhm.
closed, but they gave tarot readings, and they were pretty accurate. They were pretty on. And what happened after a while, a few years later, I'm like 9 years later after that, so I'm almost, what, I guess 25, 26, late 20s, the Palmer House closed. And then the thing was, well, who's going to do our tarot cards? I don't know. But right down the street, there's a religious store that has tarot decks. So, for the heck of it, this is really an overgeneralization, okay? I bought my first tarot deck, which was the original Rider Waite, and I started playing around with it. And the next thing you know, I start reading the family's cards, the friends' cards, the neighbors' cards for free. And because I didn't feel that I should be charging anything because I didn't know what I was doing. But after a while, it became more than just a hobby. We would fast forward now. I guess I'm into my 30s, going into my 40s. 1995. This is where we met at that, in corporate. I worked part time for the Psychic Friends Network, and that's where I read cards professionally for the first time. And that was over the phone. I found out it was so much easier when people call you and they want a reading. It feels weird because you don't see them, but it's so much easier on the phone because you seem to be able to pick up their energy without any distraction, such as their facial expression or them twitching around or any other kind of thing. I like to talk to people on the telephone and get my impressions then because I'm free to zone out and go into whatever dimension I need to go into and pull that information down and go, wow, right over the phone. And it was quite interesting. I really learned to expand my skills and take things from there. And I got into tarot so deep I forgot not completely about the astrology, but after knowing how to complete a chart manually, I just put that down and I just settled for astrology symbology and meanings and let me read the tarot. Let me add my astrology into this tarot and see what I can do with it. And that's where I've been. Um,
Okay.
since that time, I haven't been doing anything until my retirement. And that's when I
Okay.
decided I turned on YouTube and I watched some readers and I'm like, that's not what those cards mean.
Well, that kind of leads me to number two.
Hmm.
So a couple things that came up as you were talking was number one, I'm blown away that Morgan was having classes on astrology. I
Oh, yeah.
wish that more colleges would do that.
That
I
was
mean,
that
that's,
continuing education uh,
yeah,
segment. Yeah. Oh, you'd be sick.
that was
Colleges.
pretty cool.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, as you know, Carol, I've always been fascinated by astrology, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe that you were my first introduction to the world of tarot.
Oh,
Even back then, I sensed that you were uniquely attuned. You were always able to perceive different dimensions, and your knowledge of the metaphysical truly felt like, to me, like you were a walking encyclopedia to me. I was always learning from you.
I read a lot of books.
So, tell me what happens when you first connect with the tarot. What does it feel like for you when you're reading the cards? Like, what is that process like for you?
It's so natural. I don't feel a thing. But now, with different decks, I see different things. Now, what happens to me is I'm just looking. The tarot cards themselves are nothing but cardboard papers. They have been colored and they are inked, rather, illustrated with symbolism. It's the symbolism and the colors that trigger something in my subconscious or in my ultra consciousness that tells the story. Sometimes I can feel an absolute energy shift, go from hot to cold, from calm to irritation in my reading, just looking at the cards. Other times I can hear words coming through.
Mm,
Other times I can see things. I can just, it's almost as if I were there. I express some mediumship also through the cards. And I do not like to do medium work because I feel like I can't handle it. Because there have been times when I have seen nothing horrendous, but a beautiful young girl, 20 something years old, who had everything to live for, make the wrong turn and end up drowning in a pool, a flash flood, dead. That upset me. And I was contacted her through the cards. And I could feel her anguish, her pain, her anger with herself. And I said, don't worry about this, baby. Don't worry about this, And your family loves you. They miss you. Send them some love and just go on your way. And it
Mm-hmm.
takes me a while to recuperate after that. I have been doing lives on YouTube now because really I feel that they are less taxing because when you're into, even though you've shielded yourself and all that other stuff to protect yourself while you're moving interdimensionally and dealing with other people's energy fields, it can be draining. It can be draining. And I'm just not going to put myself in certain positions to be drained, to be upset, or anything like that. And well, it's real. To me, it's very, very real. But the energy, we all have our own energy fields, and they can extend as far from the body as about 6 feet, which means we can pass people on the street and pick up their energy from their energy field. And we kind of get clogged up when we take our showers, when we take our baths, we cleanse our energy fields at the same time, as well as our physical body. But still, you can most definitely, when you're reading tarot cards, pick up the energy of the person or persons you're reading, or sometimes the persons you're not reading who just happen to be sitting there or just peeping your
Right.
program. And that can be something else too. And after which, I just have to clear myself up, ground myself again, and just go on with my business. But it can be taxing sometimes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
I've also noticed now that you're incorporating sound therapy into your work, which is really intriguing. Can you share a little bit about the healing properties of sound and what drew you to the bowls? There they are.
This is when this is my little bowl. This is Lauren's bowl, my daughter's bowl. Um, it started with mantras. It started with mantras. Um, as you know, I was chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo with Nichiren Shoshu Buddhism, and I started chanting Hugh with Ekankar, and they both deal with light and sound. Then I discovered I always believed that sound came from light. But as I dug more and more and did my research into sound, I find that light comes from sound. And I'm like, well, oh, look at that. So I started finding and discovering the properties of sound itself. Sound is a very powerful thing. It's a vibration, and what happens is that it creates waves, and those waves of vibration they will hit in the air particles. They will run into the air particles, and it'll make sounds. It can flow through liquids, and it'll make sounds different from the airwaves though, but it'll make sounds. The sound waves can also go through something as solid as this wall, depending upon the materials of the wall, and make sounds. That's why you can hear people next door arguing. The sound is permeated. That's what that wall is made of. Wood is amazingly a sound conductor, but you'd be surprised, and some other metals. But what I also found out was that with sound, in the music you hear, music can uplift you, or music can irritate you, or music can make you sensual, feel sensuous, and want to get out there and make some love, or it can drum you to war. It can also heal. And I'm not quite sure how or when I took the plunge into sound itself, but I know it started with vocal toning. I was doing mantras, and then I got interested in toning, and that's toning simple, they would call it, I guess, Bij mantras, like, oh. And then I looked in and I discovered that, oh, wait a minute, I can also move my body with certain tones. I can heal my body. Let me see what happens if I go, oh, that invigorates the chest. That's also for the heart chakra. What I started doing was different tones for different chakras that ran up into my crown and down. I started running the tones for the root chakra down by the tailbone, and it's red. For the yellow chakra, the sacral chakra, for the emotions, I tune ooh, and it's interesting because when we hear something that's exciting but a little scandalous, the first thing we go is ooh. So that is part of
Mm.
your emotional reaction there, going, ooh, uh, confidence comes out your solar plexus, and that is, oh, we just did the heart chakra, the throat chakra, when you have to speak your piece and you feel a little unsure about what you want to say. This is going to sound weird, but tone with I, which is spelled EYE. Your eyes and your throat. That's interesting. For the third eye, it will, after a while, open it up. And for the crown, and after a while, after doing these a few days in a row, what you're going to find is that you are slowly but surely becoming more aware, becoming more focused, and most definitely becoming much more calm in your day to day activities and
Mm.
interactions.
Mm.
So that was the beginning of sound healing for me. One thing led to another. I learned about the sounds. I learned about the tones. I learned about the vocals. And then while I was on retreat with my goddesses, my goddess sisters, one of the goddesses had a tuning fork, 528 hertz. That's the heart chakra. That's also the frequency that can supposedly change or repair their DNA. So I asked her to uh, clear me out, just clear me with this. And she started with my head and she went all around my shoulders and my bust. But when she got around to my stomach area, I said, "Oh, girl, stop." I had to run to the toilet. I was purging like I had never purged before.
Wow.
Yes, it started. Oh my God. And when I came back out, what is that thing again? A tuning fork? I've got to get one of those. And I started reading up on sound healing. And one of the things it does, it can help you purge. It can also help you sleep. Right now, I have a set. They're Solfeggios, and they are used for, well, you can use for the chakras. They're my basic set. The Salveggio is coming out of, this is all out of ancient Egypt or Sumeria or even Ethiopia. And what it is, you've heard of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Those are the frequencies of it. Instead of it being, we say do, but it's at that time in the West, it was ut, oot, oot, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, oot.
Hmm.
Strange.
That's
Sounds strange.
interesting.
But yeah, that's just one set. That's one of the sets that I have. They have other sets of tuning forks that help you align with your own chakras. You have planetary tuning forks to help you key in and align yourself with the sounds of the planets. Those are planetary
Wow.
tuning forks. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they all heal. They all heal. And
Okay.
so one thing led to another. The tuning forks. From the tuning forks, I went to the bells. From the bells, I went to the bowls, and the brass bowls, and then the crystal bowls, and now the drums. And one of these days, I think I'm going to be able to give that 6 foot didgeridoo a try to see just if
Mm,
we can go
okay.
into that thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's all about sound and healing, and this is ancient and it's for free. Well, free wisdom, ancient free wisdom that we're going to be using now to heal ourselves. Basically, you'll find sound healers or sound healing if they don't have their own establishment in a music store, then you will find them at a health spa. I've worked at health spas and I love that idea. Some progressive behavioral centers would also be hiring sound healers. Okay, so
Mm,
I can't say it's lucrative. It's brand new. It's in its infancy stages. I'm doing my thing on the online for now,
okay.
and eventually I'll probably set up some type of boutique online for sound healing or whatever. My mental wellness spa. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's what.
love that. I love that. I want to learn more about it. Now, you mentioned that the 528 hertz was related to your DNA.
Yes.
What is, if you know, um, I've been attracted to 639.
Okay.
What does that represent?
Change.
Change.
It's
Okay.
change. Now, I've this is my experience, okay? Because if we're going to get technical, 639 is the heart chakra. I was brought up on 528. Okay. We're
Okay.
talking sacral plexus, solar plexus, and we're talking heart chakras. We're talking with two. So
Mm-hmm.
I use both. But my I do have in my solfeggios, I have the 528 hertz tuning fork as well as the 639. Now,
Mm.
something else I have learned while I was doing my little healing things for folks, you will have not only 639 hertz, you will have 369 hertz, and you will have 936 hertz. And what I've done, I think I've done that in one of my videos on YouTube, pulled all three out of my set and just started playing them against each other, just for the calm and the healing and to find out what the reactions are. And it's a pleasant, very pleasant sound. And it does move energy. It does move energy. It is, but I don't know specifically how it's reacting to people because I did it on a recording on YouTube, so I don't know what energy hit where. But
Mm.
it's that goes back to that 639 goes back to Tesla's 369,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
basically is a we're getting into octaves and stuff. That's what that is.
Okay. I want to put in before we go to number four, I want to put in a request
Uh-oh.
that on your YouTube channel, you do like a guided video helping us to balance our chakras, like through
Oh, okay.
sound. I would
Okay.
love that, something that I could use like in the morning, because I'm always trying to like balance, like it gets stuck up here where I'm holding it
Yes.
in here and like, just trying to balance. That would be really good.
No, I have an instructive video like that. I have another I have two YouTube channels. One is Grand Madame's Tarot, and the other one is Energetic Mastery, Sound Success.
Mhm.
I think I've done an instructional like that, running the tones
Okay.
along the
I'll have to
chakras.
look at that.
But for a guided meditation, I let me do. I think the folks would like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Oh, once
All
you
right.
okay, guided meditation. Okay. All
All
right.
right. Number four.
Mm-hmm.
So, Carol, as you know, there's been so much wild stuff happening globally for a while, of course, but 2025 has already felt like 3 years to me, and we just got into July.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you stay centered amidst all of this chaos that's going on? And what kind of advice can you offer to our listeners on how to navigate this year with more joy and resilience? Because it's taken a lot of us for a loop.
Personally, for me, I chant.
Okay.
I like my Gayatri. I like my Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I do that to solve that helps me stay focused during the day. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. When I feel really totally out of it, like I need to take a pill or something, that's when I get into something called it's a Gayatri, and it is a Hindu chant that is it's a little long. It's a little long, about a paragraph, asking the uh, deity of the sun to bless me, illuminate me with more wisdom. And the way it feels when you say it, you can say it, but you can also, I also sing it. There is a mantra singer who records, and she does things on YouTube, Devi Pramal, and I sing it. I sing. Yeah, I mean, you can chant the Gayatri, but I love to sing it, and it just takes me away. And when I come back to
Mhm.
earth, I'm just as calm as I can be. Also, what I do on my videos, my tarot videos, is before I do a reading, I do breath exercises with my viewers, and I also throw in whatever instrument I think is appropriate at the time. It's usually going to be a singing bowl, brass or crystal, or I have chimes and I have a kalimba over there. It depends upon whatever it is I feel the need or I'm guided to do at the time. But sometimes, often, it used to be as tuning forks, just to get these,
Mhm.
especially 528, to get folks in the mood and to bring them down to earth. Because usually when I go online, it's around lunchtime, their lunchtime, and so I can just help them reset, have their lunch, and just going back into work. Going back into that firing line. Your business. And then I'm going to go watch TV or something. But you're set for the rest of the day, and that's basically what I do. What I plan on doing once I get somebody to cut this grass is going outside in my lawn and just stand there for about 15 minutes in the grass barefoot and have that energy, the ions, that come and just charge my body on up. I
Okay.
have to do something deliberately. I just can't take a pill or stay in some upset type of situation, energy, because of something I've seen on the news or out in the street or in my own personal life. I can't do that
Mhm.
anymore. First of all, I'm too
Mhm.
old for that. Second of all, that can really detract from your purpose in life. It can detract from everything you want for yourself and keep you distracted to the point where you'll never achieve anything. So I keep myself grounded, and that's how I
Okay.
do
Thank you. Thank
it.
you. That's great advice. A lot of things to look into, to Google.
Oh, yes.
All right. Number five. So, Carol, as we all navigate through life, we learn that our greatest obstacles often lead to our greatest joys and deepest growth. Can you share what might have been your greatest personal struggle in your journey and what profound lessons emerged from it, or a
Oh,
watershed moment of some type?
oh, that was last week. If
Okay.
that was last week, and my personal struggle is with discipline. I've never had it. No, I can't say never had it, but I need structure. I can't be allowed to go willy nilly. And because I'm not consistent with what I do, consistency and discipline, those are the two bugaboos in my life I've never paid any, and structure. That's why I don't have any money. That's it right there. I can't blame anybody but me who just, if I'm not under somebody else's discipline, then I'm not disciplined at all. If I'm not working under somebody else's structure, then I'm not structured at all. And I had a good conversation with myself just last week about this, so much so that when I got up this morning, the first thing I did was exercise. The second thing I did was do my chanting. And the third thing I did was make a list of the things I had to do today and do them. So that's day one. Let's see if I can be consistent and do that every day.
In short, in short translation, these obstacles come all the time that
Yes.
we have to be resilient and and tackle. And we do. But you never, it's a journey. It's an ever evolving journey, right? So thanks for sharing
Yes.
that and reminding us, Um, come to think of it, I've learned just a couple things just from last night too. So thank you.
Oh, yes.
All right. So number six, you've always been such a seeker of knowledge. And you've genuinely inspired so many people, myself included. I remember that, Carol, you were the very first person that I actually knew personally who ever published a book. And I
Mm.
remember thinking when you published your first, I don't know how many you've written, but when you published that first book, I remember thinking like, wow, and I couldn't wait to
Oh,
to order
you
it.
got
And
inspiration, huh?
so I went out and got it and check this out.
Yeah. You do. You still have it. Thank
Still
you,
have
Christy.
girl, you you mean the world to me, and you've had
Thank
quite an
you.
impact on my life. And I remember being so inspired, by that. Like, wow, I know somebody who's actually written a book, and I've met quite a few people who have written a book, myself included now, but that really meant a lot to me. So I know that your journey is ever evolving like ours are. So where are you now, and what are you working on now?
Oh my God. This just it's over here trying to pull this manuscript together for this mantra book. I'm trying to put together everything, everyday mantras that people can understand and actually use every day whenever they have a goal to be reached or just want to set their day a certain way. And it's been 5 years, and I'm wondering, what is it? What is it? What is it? And it's not necessarily, I thought it was procrastination. No, I wasn't ready. I could
Mm-hmm.
write about the basics. This is how you chant. You chant for this number of times and you chant blah, 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 blah. That kind of the logistics of it, but what's behind it, how it really works, I did not know that until this year. And I'm like, that's why I couldn't write that book because I did not want to put it out there as just a how to. This is because there mantra books that have been written, and I'm like, I've picked up a couple that people have newly been written. I'm like, okay, this is the how to, and this is basically what I'm not interested in. It's not about just making a bunch of sounds for, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
108 times, and then you expect things to work out. No, well, you need to know what you're doing, and then you need to know how it works and what you're working with. That's where I'm coming from. That's what got me into, are you ready? It's all quantum mechanics. I'm like, oh, hell, I was terrible at math. How am I going to get into physics? But it's quantum mechanics. And now I can explain it in layman's terms. And that's what I'm writing about. And I'm
Oh,
trying
that's exciting.
at the same time, make it exciting. Like I have a chapter, Chanting for Dollars, and I just ran my first chapter. I've got three different versions of a chapter one, and I'm like, oh my god! But Chanting for Dollars is done. It's just chapter one. I can't get right about now. So that's what I'm
Okay.
working on, and I still have not given myself a deadline. I just, for whatever reason, I feel a push right about now. And
Okay.
so I do have an accountability coach. We exercise together and we get each other's reading. She has to read, I have to write. And so we're working on that. She's very helpful. It's great to have a coach. And one of my goddess friends, Goddess Charlene, shout out. Yeah, and she helps me a lot. And I
It
hope I
helps to
help.
keep you disciplined and on a
Yes,
structure. Right.
yeah, there it
That's
is.
great.
There it is.
That's
And it's
great.
and now I want to continuously write again. And it's like interesting. I've got so many books. I went out there and found books that I don't even understand. And I said, let me just put it back on the shelf here. Eventually, I'm going to understand what this book is talking about after I have this experience. And then I'll go back on in, pull it out my bookcase, and then, oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
what that was. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
experience I've been having trying to write this book. And it's quite interesting because with mantras, you have whole schools of mantras in the East, India, and then Asia. I'll
Mm-hmm.
say there, you have schools of mantras. And I said, no, I don't want a whole school now. I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to relate to the folks. I want a book that can show them what they can do as a practice every day, any day, without any crazy aesthetics or anything like that. Something not too strenuous. Just let it out your mouth, write it down if you're bored, something like that. And that's what I'm trying to put together. And that's effective.
Okay. Okay. I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't wait till you put it together. And
Okay.
I didn't know that you had two YouTube channels. So you'll share this with me after I stop the recording so
Oh,
I can put it on the description for the video. But Carole, I'm just so honored to be able to have this conversation with you. And I hope it's just one of many more to come because we have such rich history together
yes.
and such a unique and great friendship.
Thank you.
Means
You
so
have
much
my
to me.
number.
I appreciate it.
You do
And for
have
the
my
listeners,
number.
thank
Oh.
you. And for the listeners, thanks for tuning in. I'll have her information in the video description, and we'll see you on the next podcast episode. Love and light to all of you. Bye bye.